Demons stole his body parts, but he became overpowered to destroy them.
While waiting for his wife Nuanakata to give birth, Lord Daigo recalls the day he made a deal with the 12 demons in the Hall of Hell, choosing to follow the path.
Yeah, you already know your wife dead. You made a pact with demons. Your wife not making it.
Of evil in exchange for power. The demons collect their payment when his first son is born. The child is born without limbs, facial features, or skin. The baby is set adrift in the river and left to its fate. 16 years later, he is now a young man, traveling alone, wearing prosthesis made by Dr. Jukai. While hunting a sludge-like demon, he encounters Dororo, a young petty thief.
Is he stretching out a dog? Hey, hold up. Too many things are happening at once. He just didn't have skin.
Being beaten by 3 men who Dororo cheated out of their goods. The demon attacks and devours
This man got attacked by poo.
the guys, but the young man uses blades embedded in his prosthetic arms to defeat it. Following the demon's death, the man's missing skin reappears and lightning splits a demon statue in the Hall of Hell. Meanwhile, Daigo's second son Takamaru returns home after hunting, but his mother still pines for her first son. Dororo accompanies the young man who seems to be unable to see, hear, or talk. However, he has excellent sword skills, superhuman strength, and the ability—
So he can't see, hear, or talk, but he can move, kill, and kill. What are we talking about? How does that work?
friendly or unfriendly beings by the color of their souls. Dororo takes the young man to a village run by a beautiful woman named Bundai and offers to slay a local monster which rings a pilgrim bell. While there, they meet the blind monk known as Biwa Hoshi.
What the hell? Who dropped their nutsack on his head to be indented like that? I see you, Frieza.
Who can also detect people's souls. They discover Bundai is actually a demon who has been eating travelers. After a long and intense fight, the young man slays the demon. The monster reappears, ringing its bell, and a villager explains it is the spirit of the first being the villagers killed. The young man reveals his name Hyakkimaru to Dororo.
Was that nigga in Japanese? Hold up, they saying slurs in the sand?
Spirit of the first being the villagers killed. The young man reveals his name Hyakkimaru to Dororo.
Wow, bro, we don't even have nothing to do with this, and they attacking us for no reasons, man.
Dororo and the monk. As Bundai's statue in the Hall of Hell gets struck by lightning, Hyakkimaru regains his central nervous system, thus regaining the ability to feel pain. Meanwhile, Daigo is told the Sakai clan appears to be preparing for war. Many years ago, Jukai-sensei, a doctor, found Lord Daigo's abandoned and deformed infant on a riverbank. He took the child home.
How was that thing alive?
Abandoned and deformed
How does it have a heartbeat? Look at this thing, bro. That doesn't even make sense. There's nothing here.
He took the child home and made special prostheses for him so he could move about and appear normal.
How?
6 years later, the doctor gave him the name Hyakkimaru. After the kid killed a lizard demon and his right leg was magically returned to him, Jukai realized that although the boy attracted demons, his body parts had probably been stolen by demons. The doctor inserted swords into Hyakkimaru's prosthetic arms before the young man left to travel the land alone. Dororo chats with a—
So the more demons he killed, the more body parts he gets? What demon does he have to kill for his penis?
girl, while Hyakkimaru stands outside, experiencing the feeling of rain for the first time. Suddenly, Hyakkimaru detects a demon's sword and rushes off. He encounters a man wielding the sword and only manages to defeat him by trapping the sword in his prosthetic leg. Dororo goes to retrieve the leg, but is pulled back to its owner when he touches the sword. The girl finds her brother Tanasuke and takes him home, but he is only interested in regaining the sword. Meanwhile, Hyakkimaru disarms Dororo, but Tanasuke seizes the sword again and attacks Hyakkimaru.
Why are they fighting?
This time, Hyakkimaru kills him and breaks the sword, which returns his ears to him. The next morning, in the Sake territory, Hyakkimaru—
So he's slowly getting his body parts back. Oh, I can't wait for the penis demon.
—encounters Mio, but he collapses from his wounds. The travelers stay with Mio and a group of orphan children at an abandoned temple, while Mio works at night serving the Sake troops as a prostitute. Meanwhile, Biwa Hoshi finds a better place for them, however, is inhabited by a demon. Despite his wounds still healing, Hyakkimaru goes to fight it. Biwa Hoshi is concerned. Hyakkimaru's white aura is starting to show hints of demon red. They encounter the Antlion larvae.
So he's getting his parts back by killing the demons, but the demon parts still have demon in them. So demons just don't work with demons. Like, I don't know. Like, that's literally all he had to do. Like, his father was a setup, bro.
Which bites off
his
the
father
lower
set
half
him
of
up.
Hyakkimaru's real leg, leaving him screaming in agony. Biwa Hoshi heads back to Mio's camp with Hyakkimaru. His leg is half gone, but his voice has returned. He slowly adjusts to using his hearing and his voice with the help of Mio. They become drawn to each other and the red in his soul fades. Although only partially recovered, Hyakimaru returns to kill the demon. He succeeds in killing the demon and his leg heals.
This man don't know what recovery
However,
is.
when he and Dororo return to the temple, they find Mio mortally wounded and Dago troops murdering the orphans because they believe Mio is a Sakai spy. Enraged by the attack on Mio, Hyakimaru
He
goes
kinda
berserk,
clean with it.
slaughter-
Hold up, that nigga. Why is he so raw, bruh? Why is he so raw? Progression to busting a nut. The final episode is just him getting a nut off. That would be.
Bring all the Daigo troops until Dororo intervenes,
Damn!
fearing Hyakimaru may become a demon himself. After burying the dead, Hyakimaru and Dororo continue their travel. A dark cloud containing a demon appears over a village, and the villagers hurriedly prepare a woman as a sacrificial bride to appease it. As Hyakimaru and Dororo see the bridal parade traveling up the mountain, a wild boy Saru tries to stop the sacrifice. After the boy tells them the story of the demon, Dororo...
I feel like I know an anime character who wears a dog on his head, but what anime character does this? Damn, I
and
can't remember.
Hyakimaru agree to exterminate the demon. A dark cloud envelops them and the demon appears as a large centipede. However, Hyakimaru is unable to differentiate it from the cloud as they both show red to his vision and it swallows the woman. Dororo and Saru devise a plan to create an explosion using the sulfurous gases emitted by the mountain, which sets the demon ablaze but has little effect.
How the
Dororo
hell?
then
What?
jumps on Demon's head and calls to Hyakimaru, enabling him to locate and attack the centipede by sound, destroying
Okay,
it.
yeah, we get that the main character or whatnot is overpowered as hell. How did that kid do that? This man just what's that man's name? Tarzan. Demon centipede. How did he do that? Who raised him? Why wasn't I raised like this? Because my parents love me. My mom would not want me to go through this nonsense. Like, my mom would make sure I was born with skin.
The dark cloud dissipates and Hyakimaru, Dororo, and the woman, who is still alive from being swallowed whole, fall into a water. Saru is relieved to find his sister and agrees to move into the village with her. Hyakimaru regains his sense of smell and for the first time addresses Dororo by name. Dororo falls ill with fever and Hyakimaru takes him to a temple for treatment. Later, Dororo recovers, but the priestess reveals to Hyakimaru...
So when he gets his arms back, are his arms gonna go through the blades in his prosthetics? Oh, I'm cringing from it. Oh, God.
Dororo is actually female, calling Dororo young girl after removing her clothes to wash Dororo to a temple for treatment. Later, Dororo recovers, but the priestess reveals to Hyakimaru Dororo is actually female, calling Dororo young girl after removing her clothes to wash them. Meanwhile, Daigo is told Hyakimaru may be alive from a survivor of the attack on Mio's camp. A crab-like monster devours a man after destroying his boat.
Damn.
Meanwhile, the drought in the Daigo lands worsens while the Asakura clan gathering on their border. He visits the temple and finds more demon statues destroyed, and the demons inform him Hyakimaru is still alive and is slowly retrieving the stolen pieces of his body.
Yeah, let him get his body back. Y'all not gonna hold this man forever. Yeah, he gonna come back and he gonna clap y'all up. I promise you. I put 20 on it. I got 5 on it.
Daigo's son Tamaru discovers his father is searching for a baby. Later, Tamaru and his 2 bodyguards, Mutsu and Hyogo, encounter a village where they speak of a monster
This
in the
nigga
lake
love that. He's straight out of Beyblade.
which eats fishermen. He leads a group of villagers in their boats onto the lake and attacks and damages the monster, but it is too fierce and they are forced to retreat.
It's a giant
Tamaru
crab.
then-
You know how delicious that will be, bro? A giant crab that could feed you for months? Crab with some deer, crab with some broccoli, crab with some sugar cane? You sprinkle a little bit of the bee semen on the crab? Ooh!
Then has the villagers construct a trap intending to lure the monster into a shallow channel where the water can be drained out. The plan works and Tamaru, Mutsu, and Hyogo attack it together. However, the monster fights back and almost devours Hyogo, but at the last minute, Hyakimaru arrives and slays it. Tamaru is left wondering who the stranger is. Tamaru learns Hyakimaru's name as the 2 travelers arrive in the Daigo capital. There, they see a play depicting Daigo as a great slayer of demons protected by the goddess of mercy. Biwahoshi seeks the truth at the Hall of Hell, while Hyakimaru and Dororo visit the remnants of Fort Banman.
They in love with
It was
some
built
demons
by Daigo
now.
and is supposedly cursed by a demon. They find remnants of a timber wall where the Asakura pinned bodies of their enemies with arrows.
Damn.
They find remnants of a timber wall where the Asakura
These kind of look like Shinobi for real. This is an anime crossover. This definitely look like some Shinobi. What's going on here?
Bodies of their enemies with arrows. They encounter a young boy, Sukuroku, who wishes to cross to the Asakura side and rejoin his family. Meanwhile, Taamaru's body.
Bees come. I'm talking about honey, bro. Come on now, stick with the program.
Guards report the incident with Hyakumaru to Daigo, who realizes his son is alive and decides to kill him and maintain the prosperity of his domain, ignoring his wife's pleas.
What?
Decides to kill him and maintain the.
So you pleaded the demons. Your first kid was born without skin or anything, and now he's getting his bones and skin back from your mistake. You want him to kill him? Oh my god, bro.
The prosperity of his domain, ignoring his wife's pleas. Taamaru overhears their exchange and later comes across a demented woman who was present at Hyakumaru's birth. She tells him how the demons ate everything but left the boy alive. Night falls at Bamon and a nine-tailed fox demon appears.
I told y'all it was a crossover! What my nigga Naruto doing here?
While it attacks Hyakumaru, Sukuroku uses the distraction to pass the wall with Dororo in pursuit. However, they are captured by Asakura sentries. The demon is eventually chased off by the arrows of a squadron led by Daigo himself, who then approaches Hyakumaru. Hyakumaru does not recognize his father and is confused when he sees demonic red in Daigo's soul. Daigo orders his archers to fire at Hyakumaru, who flees. Meanwhile, Dororo and Sukuroku are held in an Asakura prison with other prisoners, but Dororo manages to escape. In the Daigo compound, Taamaru confronts her mother about his brother's fate, but his father—
that's his brother. Okay.
Explains the bargain he made with the demons to save their land. Hyakumaru appears and is seen by his mother and brother, but Daigo orders him killed. Taamaru is horrified, but Daigo asks Taamaru if he would be willing to sacrifice the land to save his brother. The Asakura start to kill
I don't care about I will kill you. Lame man, because that could have been me. I could have been him. And you would just kill me? Hell no, bro. You getting a knife to the back? Come on now. Y'all did a poll. Should Waka make me admin? Elmo for admin. Yes. No. Y'all are on meat.
Prisoners at the Bamon to provoke a war, and the Daigo army charges forward, attracting the Fox Demon. Lord Daigo arrives with his army, and Taamaru, who has reluctantly accepted his father's decision, and attacks Hyakumaru. Hyakumaru breaks Taamaru's sword and damages his right eye, then kills the demon, which is sucked into the Bamon. Nuanakata arrives and begs forgiveness for her complicity in Daigo's bargain. She then stabs herself, and her sacrifice causes her goddess of mercy stab.
Oh! Why did she? Bro. Y'all talking about Elmo, and y'all ignoring the whole fact that the mother just killed herself. Fuck Elmo, the mother just killed herself because of this dumbass dad.
Statue to collapse the Bamon. Survivors of Sukuroku's village arrive, and Sukuroku is reunited with his mother. Biwahoshi picks up Nuanakata.
Can I run an ad again?
Small headless wooden statue of the goddess of mercy, which sacrificed its own head at Hyakumaru's birth so the child would not lose his head in his father's barbing with the demons, and its gentle green aura fades. Later, Hyakumaru and Dororo visit an onsen where they encounter Biwahoshi and other children who see a map which appears on Dororo's back. Nuanakata is shown to have survived, but Taamaru has been blinded in his right eye. In a flashback, Dororo's father, the bandit Hibikuro, drew a part of a map of the location to his hidden money onto the back of his wife, and the rest on Dororo's back so they could—
So technically Dororo is the main character's little brother. That's what it sounds like, I think.
Retrieve it together later. Dororo memorized the map on her mother's back before she died. In the present, Biwahoshi and Hyakumaru realize the map appears when Dororo's back heats up, which Biwahoshi says gives her some choices in life. Hyakumaru continues his search for demons, unconcerned even when a huge baby-like monster grabs Dororo. They arrive at a burned-out temple, and the monster disappears as they encounter Sabame, the lord of the land, carrying a flower offering to the spirit who inhabits the site. He invites them to stay at his home, where he says the temple housed a nunnery which
He looked
exploded
crazy. Don't
children
trust him.
before it was struck by lightning.
Don't
and
trust him. He looked
destroyed,
crazy.
killing everyone inside. That night, the travelers are attacked by a caterpillar-like monster, but when Hyakkimaru wounds it, a huge moth-like demon, Meimeamba, appears and carries it away.
These niggas are, this looks like Pokemon if it was realistic. This is what this reminds me of. It's just real life Pokemon. Because it's just a bunch of random nonsense. Why did I get an ad? Because I gave y'all ads. Y'all wanted to be smart with y'all mouth? Y'all can be smart with those ads in y'all mouth, bitch.
The moth lands near Sabaeum and transforms into a white-haired woman. After she tells Sabaeum the food he provided for her children was too strong, he consoles her and promises to protect her and her children. Dororo visits Sabaeum's prosperous village.
They were trying to kill them. He was a setup. I knew it was a setup. Look at his eyes.
Village where everyone seems happy. She finds a rice storehouse deep in the forest but is pushed into the basement by the villagers. It is filled with the caterpillar monsters which menace Dororo, but the baby monster returns to save her. The monster bursts open, releasing the spirits of the children from the temple which Sabaeum and the villagers had fed to Meimeamba after burning it down. Outside the village, Sabaeum tells Hyakkimaru how he accepted the Meimeamba who fed on samurai and beasts to protect the village and then took her as his wife. The Meimeamba moths emerge from their chrysalides and attack Hyakkimaru, who fiercely fights back. However, the last one destroys Hyakkimaru's prosthetic leg and then sacrifices itself to set fire to the village.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Dororo burns down the storehouse, destroying the caterpillars and the village rice supplies, causing the villagers to fight among themselves over the remaining food.
Yeah, that's like karma. Your whole shit burned down, looking just like Nico Robin. Everything you know is burnt down.
Food. Hyakkimaru finds and kills the original Meimeamba, which returns his spinal column to him. He and Dororo walk back through Sabaeum's burned-out village where many villagers lie dead, including Sabaeum. Dororo wonders if they did the right thing, but Hyakkimaru states his only concern is killing demons. Dororo and Hyakkimaru walk separate ways, but bandit named Itachi, who betrayed Dororo's father, finds her. Itachi has half of the map from Dororo's mother back and demands to see Dororo's half. She denies knowledge of a map, but Itachi and his men take her with them, believing she has memorized it. They travel for days, following Dororo's mother half of the map, which Itachi discovered after he dug up her body. They arrive at Cape Akatsu where the treasure is located, but can't reach it without a boat. After failing to find boats at a nearby village which they believe was destroyed by bandits, they meet Shiranui, a one-armed youth who offers to take them across. They board two boats pulled by huge sharks, Jiromaru and Sabiramaru.
They're using surf! Am I a genius? Am I literally one of the smartest people to ever exist? Did I create the light bulb? I'm starting to think that's the case. What are y'all saying no for? Why are y'all saying no?
Midway across, Shiranui reveals he fed his arm to the sharks. However, they developed a taste for human flesh, so he then killed the villagers to feed them. On his signal, the sharks capsize one of the boats and devour the men on board. Not wanting them to gorge
this man sold his soul to sharks.
Themselves, he leaves Sabiramaru to watch the second boat until they come back later to eat. Disheartened, Itachi recounts how he and his men were exploited by his lord. Dororo berates them for giving up and jumps in the water as bait to lure Sabiramaru. On her signal, they pull her up, and when the shark surfaces, they stab and kill it. They then paddle ashore.
Y'all are getting led by a little girl?
When Shiranui comes ashore to investigate, he is savagely beaten by the bandits. Itachi strips Dororo's clothes looking for the map.
Didn't she just save y'all life and then y'all strip her? What is...
And realizes Dororo is a girl while the heat of the fire reveals the map on her back. With the completed map, they tie up Dororo and leave, while Shiranui vows revenge. Elsewhere, as Hyakkimaru struggles to walk, he passes a monk who tells him of a man nearby who can give him a new leg. Jukai is adding limbs to the dead on a battlefield when a ghoul attacks, but Hyakkimaru appears and kills it. Back in his cave, Jukai is horrified when Hyakkimaru explains what his father did to him. Suddenly, a landslide blocks the entrance to the cave. While Hyakkimaru digs his way out, he reveals he is not alone as he remembers Dororo. Emerging from the cave, they find the fruit of a nearby demon tree producing more ghouls.
Did that tree just squirt out flying monkeys? I don't even understand this anymore. I'm so confused. Subtypical life.
Hyakkimaru slays them all until he eventually pierces the tree's heart and destroys it. At the Daigo compound, Nuanakata recovers, but Tahamaru leaves to kill a reported ghoul without visiting her. He and his aides find and wound a rat-like ghoul. Tahamaru then burns the building to kill both the ghoul and its progeny who are still alive inside, pledging his sword to defend Dago land. When they return, Dago sends Taamaru and a small army to kill Hyakkimaru.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Hyakkimaru rows a small boat towards Cape Akatsu. Shiranui calls on the giant shark Jiramaru to eat Saburomaru's body, and it evolves into a demon capable of moving onto land.
Pokemon?
It attacks Dororo,
What
but
the
she is saved
hell?
by Hyakkimaru, who slays the demon. Hyakkimaru's left leg is restored. Meanwhile, Itachi finds a cave and 2 of his men rush in but are killed by
How many
booby-trapped
more
explosives.
parts do he need,
Tadamaru
bro?
and a fleet land on the shore in
Until
pursuit
the
of
penis.
Hyakkimaru, and Tadamaru gives orders to leave no one alive. Several of Itachi's remaining men fall to Daigo arrows, and
That's
Dororo
karma for
and
locking off
Hyakkimaru
Dororo.
come across a wounded Itachi. Hyakkimaru is attacked by Tadamaru, Mutsu, and Hyogo, so Itachi
Oh, he
grabs
weaving that
Dororo
ish.
and flees. High above, Shiranui detonates the booby trap bombs he removed in an attempt to kill everyone, killing himself and causing a landslide. Many of Tadamaru's
Lame
men are
ass.
killed, and Hyogo is badly wounded, so they decide to withdraw, assuming Hyakkimaru is dead. Meanwhile, Dororo and the mortally wounded Itachi fall into a cave created by the explosion and discover the treasure. Itachi dies after seeing it. Hyakkimaru finds Dororo, who decides to leave the treasure hidden until she decides what to do with it. Hyakkimaru and Dororo seek the swordsmith to repair the swords in Hyakkimaru's prosthetic. Hyakkimaru refits the repaired swords and continues
Now,
his
okay, so
journey
he
with
needs
Dororo.
his arms first, and then he gets his penis.
Tadamaru and his aides observe misfortune befalling
Walker, you might be
Daigo's
delusional.
villages,
How?
and since it started at the
Did I
borders
see the
and is
fan
spreading
page
inwards,
edits? Yes, I
they
did.
suspect the demons are upset Hyakkimaru isn't dead. Back in his compound, Daigo realizes his deal with the demons has been revoked since the destruction of the Goddess of Mercy statue, and the days of prosperity are over. Meanwhile, Hyakkimaru and Dororo encounter Dice Spot Saburoda, who is hunting a local demon that ate his mother. They lay in wait, and a gigantic new appears.
What the
Hyakkimaru
hell?
goes to fight it, but is intercepted by Saburoda, who now delights in seeing the demon devour terrified travelers. During the fight, Hyakkimaru and Dororo fall down a rocky embankment, and Dororo's arm becomes trapped. Hyakkimaru is unable to free her despite
Don't
breaking
pull
his
it!
left
What are you
prosthetic arm,
doing?
and subterranean water begins to rise. Suddenly, Biwa Hoshi appears and frees Dororo, though his sword is broken. Again, determined to regain his body, Hyakkimaru attacks and badly wounds the new. It eats Saburoda in desperation, absorbing him into its body.
It eats him?
Hyakkimaru finally slays it, however. No part of his body is returned to him even when he cuts the new to pieces, much to the horror of Dororo. Biwa Hoshi watches sadly as the
It
brutality
did
results
return.
in
Okay, so nothing returned, but it was the penis right there. Okay.
Hyakkimaru's aura gaining a red heart, thinking he has a heavy fate to bear. Hyakkimaru realizes he must confront Daigo to have his body fully restored. Hyakkimaru approaches Daigo territory, and Dororo is saddened his single-minded desire to recover his body parts. They are recognized by a villager
I mean,
who
how are
notifies
you
Daigo.
pressing him? He
Meanwhile,
never
the
had a body, bro. Of course he wants his body parts back. He was born nothing but a skull.
Situation worsens in Daigo territory. Villages which have become diseased are burned and their inhabitants killed. Able-bodied men are conscripted for the war against the threatening Asakura clan. Horses, including a nursing mother horse named Midoro, are requisitioned. Tadamaru decides to take Mutsu and Hyogo to stop Hyakkimaru himself. They find Hyakkimaru and Dororo at a ravine littered with soldiers' bodies and attack him together. Hyakkimaru severs Mutsu's right arm and Hyogo's left arm, and again cuts Tadamaru's right eye, as Dororo looks on in horror at Hyakkimaru's savagery. Suddenly,
They
a group
came
of
to
men sent by
attack
Daigo to
him!
protect their prince intervene. The leader sends Midoro loaded with explosives towards Hyakkimaru, killing the horse and blowing Hyakkimaru into the ravine. Dororo is captured by the villagers, and Tadamaru is subdued by a dart when he refuses to leave. Later, spirits possess Midoro's body parts, turning it into a flaming horse.
What?
Tadamaru's Rube returned
It turned
home
into
with
it turned to
Dororo
a
while
Rapidash? Man, this is such a Pokemon ripoff.
Daigo prepares to repel an impending attack by the Asakura clan, planning to fight at Banman. Hyakkimaru is enraged because Dororo has been kidnapped, his rage drawing the demon horse to him. Tadamaru visits Hyogo's sister Mutsu, who lost her right arm and is also weak from a disease she was hiding, but she refuses to see him as she won't risk infection. Meanwhile, Nuanakata frees Dororo in gratitude for providing companionship for son Hyakkimaru and leaves with him. Their boat is smashed in the strong current, and they are rescued by Daigo refugees, including Biwa Hoshi.
So the mother left? with
Nuanakata
him?
decides to stay to help care for the sick and wounded. Mutsu leaves the compound badly ill, prompting Tadamaru and Hyogo to go after her.
What?
Elsewhere, Hyakkimaru is joined with the demonic horse Midoro and is cutting a bloody sway through Daigo's soldiers, seeking Dororo. Mutsu staggers to the demon temple and offers herself to the 12th and final demon to protect the land and its people. Tadamaru and Hyogo arrive to see her offer rejected. However,
She
when
was
the trio later
rejected?
intercept Hyakumaru, their wounds have been healed by the demon. Mutsu and Hyogo each bear one of Hyakumaru's real arms and Tabamaru as his two eyes. Daigo villagers
Wait. So they have his arms, and so yes. Oh, that's cool. Hold on. Oh, hold on.
near the border
That's
prepare
kinda
for the impending
cool.
war, and Midoro's full runs away. Hyakumaru attacks Tabamaru, Mutsu and Hyogo to reclaim his eyes and arms. Meanwhile, Nuanakata and Dororo arrive at the battle but are held back by Biwahoshi. Midoro attacks Mutsu and Hyogo, but is distracted by the arrival of her foal and is wounded. Enraged, Midoro tears off Hyogo's head and crushes Mutsu, but their bodies are controlled by the demon, which uses their arms to fatally wound Midoro. On their deaths, Hyakumaru's arms return to him, and he grabs the two sword blades that were in his prosthesis with his bare hands to keep fighting Tabamaru. Confused by emotions when he sees Nuanakata and Dororo approach, Hyakumaru runs off with Tabamaru in pursuit. The villagers, Biwahoshi, Nuanakata, and Dororo debate the value of one life against the needs of many and conclude only what is gained by their own hands will last. At the border, Daigo leads his army forward, determined to defeat the Asakura and give meaning to his decisions. Hyakumaru follows Tabamaru to the Daigo castle and their fight resumes. During the struggle, they knock over a candle stand, setting the castle on fire.
Of course.
The smoke alerts Dororo and Nuanakata, who are drawn by concern for the young brothers. Tabamaru and Hyakumaru continue their fierce battle inside the burning Daigo castle.
Y'all can
each
leave the
believing it is
burning
their
castle.
inherited domain. Meanwhile, Nuanakata leaves Biwahoshi and Dororo while she enters the castle through a hidden tunnel and meets Jukai. Above them, Hyakumaru finally defeats Tabamaru but does not kill him.
Why?
The demon with Hyakumaru's eyes tries to take control of Tabamaru, but he removes the eyes, which return to Hyakumaru. After Hyakumaru slays the demon, he becomes whole for the first time, and Jukai gives him a newly carved Goddess of Mercy statue. Dororo and
He ripped out his eyes,
Hyakumaru are
though?
reunited as the castle burns. Nuanakata tends to Tabamaru as he dies in her arms and the castle collapses.
Oh my
Meanwhile,
God.
the last demon statue falls in the Hall of Hell, and Daigo leads his army against the Asakura, losing many of his men. Later, Dororo proposes to retrieve the treasure to help the Daigo refugees while Hyakumaru finds his father wounded but defiant in the Hall of Hell. However, when Hyakumaru departs without killing him, leaving the Goddess of Mercy statue behind, Daigo realizes if he had not made the pact with the demons, Hyakumaru had the ability to save his land. Hyakumaru departs alone, leaving Dororo behind, knowing, however, that they will meet again in the future. In the final scene, some years later, Dororo, a young woman, runs to greet Hyakumaru, who smiles as he turns to see her. The end. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to
ending. Yeah. Okay. I'm telling you, I was afraid he was gonna get hoed the whole time. I was afraid he was going to get hoed the whole time, bro. Nigga said 7 out of 10. That's an 8 point. That's an 8.5. That's an 8.5, bro. Minimum. That father was ass, bro. I thought dude was gonna get possessed by the demon and like overcome by demoniciticism. I'm so glad they just left it off as I'm glad they left it off at he was just trying to get his body back and they didn't try to make him the bad guy.